Hey, everybody. Hey, Ruel. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you. I can hear you. Can you do the same for me? Are we good?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes.
So it doesn't matter whether
Wow.
the audience can see or hear us, as long as we can, have a back and forth. That's all that matters.
Of course.
But fortunately,
Of
Westloyd
course.
says the audio is good, and that is good because I was experimenting with something new during the countdown, and it seems the experiment was a huge success. Ruel and I are able to
Nice.
continue talking during the countdown now, and you folks didn't hear it, did you? At no point did you let on the fact that you could hear us talking, unlike last week where I totally blew it. So, yes, and so yeah, that is the
Oh,
dealio.
there's a thing that says disable Bing 413 up on screen. I
Where?
don't know what that
I put that into the wrong I put that in the wrong text file. That was
That's
not
what the pre-show's all
banner.txt.
about,
That was
folks.
notes.txt that was supposed to go into.
Bing says ouch, of course.
Bing 413. I'm confused. I saw during the countdown that you had enabled a temporary avatar for yourself. And whenever somebody does that, I literally just make a note to myself, normally in note.txt, not banner.txt, because that it'll automatically, anybody can spend channel points and get their own little avatar for one episode. The thing is, it won't turn off. It'll stick around forever. So I just make notes as I go normally to turn it off. But I'm confused, Bing. You're already a subscriber. You shouldn't have to have done that. You should have had an avatar any old way. So that was all kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Were you just trying to burn points? And we'll wait
Maybe
30
they
seconds
were.
for him to reply by putting the entire spotlight on him. In fact, what the heck?
Yeah.
413. I've done this for a while.
Welcome everyone to the R&R pre-show. Glad you're here. As
Answer
you
the
can see,
question,
we do
Bing! Answer the question!
We're still waiting for Bing to answer.
No, I just put him in the middle of the screen and then I
Nice.
poked at him. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, he just has some points to burn. Yeah. So clearly,
okay.
we need to come up with something at 10,000 for people to do.
Yeah.
I was
Okay,
looking at
cool.
stuff like I don't know. I mean, lots of streamers, they get the lights that people can use points to change the color of the lights in the room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could probably, there's probably some plugin that would let them get control of my Alexa, stop, so that they could literally turn all the lights off. Alexa, lights off. Alexa, lights off. There we go. There we go.
Oh wow.
So they could do that. Alexa, lights on.
That would be funny.
Yep. That could be a $10,000 10,000 point thing or something like that, perhaps.
Yeah.
Oh, and now I gotta turn the spotlight back on.
That'd be fun. Or
Yeah. Well,
what
hey
else can
everybody.
Alexa do?
How's it going?
Alexa, swap out your mic cables.
Oh, that's another thing too. This is the first live stream with the new replacement mic cable that showed up. Actually, I think we talked about this last week. I was planning on doing a live playthrough of Guild of Merchant Explorers, which is so freaking good. But then I figured, you know what? The cable's not going to be here in time. It's not going to get here till the weekend. Let's just wait. So this is going to be a busy streaming week for me. It's going to be kind of like a normal week for you because I'm doing this today. Tomorrow, I am doing my top 10 games of 2021 updated. I feel okay. I'm probably played all I'm going to get to play, so I'm going to try and finalize that once and for all. And then on Thursday, I'll be live streaming Guilds of Merchant Explorers, which again, I mean, this is their best thing since, Gilbert and Sullivan, Gilbert and Dunstan since Elysium. It's so freaking good. Have you played it?
Yeah, it's I played it a couple of times. It's excellent. It really is. And I actually have a copy here. What time are you streaming tomorrow? What time are you doing your countdown? Noon. Okay. I think I'll lead into you because I usually stream on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
So I can lead into you. I can raid you this time.
Oh,
or
sweet,
tomorrow.
sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I'll start noon. I'll do an unboxing for a little while, waiting for people to show up or people to raid, I suppose. Okay. And then it's the updated my final top 21 or 2021 list. Nice. And then Thursday, some of this. You have a copy of it too.
I do. Oh, I do.
It's a bingo game.
Yes. Let me check my schedule real quick.
Well, no, I mean, don't worry about it. I mean, it doesn't arbitrarily. I was just arbitrarily saying I'm going to do it this Thursday. I don't have to. But it seems like that would be a missed opportunity not to make it an RVR.
Why don't we let me see, Thursday.
It's interesting. I was going to be doing this because it was going to be my unlocked run through because because that got unlocked last week or the week before thanks to a very generous donation, and I thought, okay, this would be good. It didn't even occur to me. Oh, we should definitely save it for an RVR. 100%. Yeah.
You I can clear time on Thursday at that time if you'd want to do the RVR with.
Well, the tricky thing is, we are currently 100 subs points away from unlocking an RVR. I don't think we have an RVR on the go until, I mean, at the rate we go, we'll probably unlock one later in the month or early next month.
Okay.
But I don't think I want to wait that long to cover it. Well, folks, there may or may not be a live stream of this on Thursday. I can confirm or deny nothing at this point. Tomorrow, I will be at noon live streaming my final top 2021 list, and Ruel and I will figure something out because it is a blast. I mean, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's up there with Tiny Towns and Calico, as really awesome, just Gateway Plus stuff from AEG. It's so good.
Yeah. Yet another hit from that company. They're just on such a tear lately.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Can do no wrong. I see Kabuki asks, what's up with the Vertigo, which I will not take the opportunity to sing any U2 songs at this point. It turns out I'm totally fine. If you go to guild.rahdo.com, I did post an update there, complete with videos, and they actually go into the inner ear and show what was happening. Really interesting stuff. End result is I went to the doctor. They said it's this really relatively common thing called BPPV, benign something positional vertigo, and the other P was intermittent. And because apparently what happens is, in our inner ear, we have these inner ears that, keep track of our relative position and our, and all of that. There's just these fluid-filled lines or rings. And in there is apparently this blob of goop that is what our body uses to keep track of gravity. And the goop, I guess, I don't, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but apparently this goop would float around on its own if left to its own devices, but it's full of these crystalline deposits that allow gravity to pull it down so that we can recognize, the effects of gravity on us. And apparently, sometimes those little crystalline deposits get out of the goop, start floating around free, touching the little hairs that make you think, whoa, I'm turning when I'm not. And there's this very specific series of positions you can put your head in and then hold it for 30 seconds, then go to the next one and hold for 30 seconds so that the crystals will, kind of go through all the tubes to get back to the goop and hopefully get stuck back in the goop. And the doctor did it to me, and apparently it worked on the first try. I was prepared to do this every night with Jen holding my head in place, but so far so good. I haven't had any problems at all.
That's great news. So basically, the doctor did it once, and hopefully everything's just back to normal.
Yeah,
right?
Although if it's not, I know what to do about it. Yeah, actually, it turns out Jen's stepmom apparently had this, I don't know, a year ago or something like that. And Jen said, oh, is it that thing? I already did this with her because she had helped Nancy. So she was ready to get it to go. But apparently the doctor was good enough just to get me on the first try. So I cannot complain. And no dizziness, no ongoing lingering effects, no brain lesions, et cetera.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Guild, folks. Don't forget, guild@rahdo.com. You go over there. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on. I've been doing this weekly puzzle where I throw on some board game components or cards, and I have y'all guess at it. And that's been a lot of fun. So come on over there. Every week we do that. Lots of cool stuff happening at the Guild right now.
Yep. Yes. Definitely. Head on over. By the way, Ruel, have you heard of Tabs for Cause? Tabs for a Cause?
It sounds really familiar.
Some YouTube video I watch. Maybe it was like a TLDR. I think it was TLDR, which is like a too long didn't read news summary program I watch, which is great. I think they had an ad for it, and I went and installed it, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. It basically replaces the default page whenever you open a new tab in a browser. and it's a customizable page. You can like put to-do lists and stuff on it, and it's basically you can still search like normal, like the regular default one. This is a Chrome plugin, but every time you come here, it gives you ads, and the proceeds of those ads go to worthy causes. You can see $1.398 million. I've scored 53 points so far, and I've installed on mine. I've installed on Jen's. This is not a paid advertisement or endorsement in any way, shape, or form, but I'm really impressed by it.
Nice. And what's it called again? Tabs for...
I believe it's Tab for Cause or Tab for a Cause. And if you do a search for it, it's just a really quick. You log in. You can use your Gmail, email, or your Facebook login, or create a login. It gives you little goals and stuff you can do. It tries to gamify it a bit. But the important thing is, every time I open a tab, I see an ad, just a little inconsequential one down the corner of the screen, and that ad revenue goes directly to fighting hunger in Ukraine, to fighting for all kinds of stuff. And I believe you can actually specify which things you want to go to, or it can just go to like a general purpose thing. It's very good.
Okay.
I highly recommend it to everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, hold on a second. I should do this right. Invite a friend. I just gave myself everybody. Give me points. I want points that serve me no function whatsoever. But every time I recruit a friend, I get 350 heart points.
Hey.
So there's the link for it in the chat right now. Follow tab.gladify.io. Blah 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 Rahdo, and I can get some points if you sign up, and you can raise money to help the people of Ukraine and all kinds of stuff. Nice. Just doing what you would be doing anyway, and all it means is you're occasionally exposed. You're exposed to an ad, which, I mean, you see these ads all the time, so it's very sharp. I'm very impressed by it. Kabuki apparently not so impressed by it, saying I've started a pyramid scheme, but I don't know. I did a couple quick searches for it. It seems like this is a totally legit organization. It's not a fly-by-night thing. It seems too good to be true, but yeah, I'm impressed.
Okay. Cool. I just signed up and
I'm gonna get my heart points. Whee!
Cool. You got your points from me.
All right then. My work here is done.
Cool.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is not the normal way we start the show. Hello, Flying Dutch Rocker and Kabuki and Bing, who has been or whatever I said I was gonna do, turned off, or Fidelia. Forest of Glass, and, where is it? Wesseloid, Fem Sensei, Soften Your Razor, Malger 2, I don't recognize your name. Welcome if you're new to the show. Feld Fan, Tibby Baloo, and Cosinus SL, LS 124, Meekles and Mocktails, Victory, BHG, and I think that's everybody who said hello so far. Dutch Yoda, I don't think I said hello. And Armor Sword, hello to you as well. Okay, and oh man, I should have done this sooner. The list is way too long. Ruckus McCullis, hello, Ruckus also. Apologies if I didn't say hi to everybody, folks. I should have done that sooner. And hello, Ruel. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm hanging in there. Yeah, I was. It's been a weird week. Like I got a cold. And I was like super paranoid about COVID and stuff. So I took a couple of tests and they're all negative. And I think today is like the first day I actually feel somewhat better. I just sort of powered through it. I had my long May 4th live stream on Wednesday. So I think that pushed me over the edge. So yeah, I streamed for like almost 8 hours. I played Star Wars Outer Rim. I did trivia with chat. And I also built a Star Wars Lego X-Wing. It was a lot of fun. But boy, oh boy, it was a long day.
I bet, yeah. I mean, Outer Rim, that was, I think that was like a 2-hour game just by itself, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I actually cut the end off short because there was no way I was going to win the game. The AI was crushing me, so I called it a day. But it was my first time playing through it, and I loved it. It was it was very much a Star Wars themed game, and I know it wouldn't be your jam, even though it's a solo. Totally you can play it solo. It's a pick up and delivery game, But so good.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm hanging in there. So good to see everyone in here. Thank you for joining us. This is the R&R pre-show. We're gonna record the R&R show in a little while here. We like to hang out with y'all and do some silly things and redeem channel points for y'all. So yes. I think we had.
Let's do that.
We had some stuff in the queue, right?
All right, hold on a second. I will check the queue. Yes, we have 4 things in the queue. We have that argument. which could be an argument about the state of Disney Plus Star Wars TV, if you want. Then there's a This or That, a Ruel Ranks, and a Top 3, and a Trivial Pursuits just popped up just this second. So we got to get to work. Plus, of course, we have to record the show, and we have to give away either Sherlock 13 or Azul Summer Pavilion, depending on where in the world the winner is. And so, what do you want to do?
You know what's always fun? This or That.
You like a This or That? I really enjoy a This or That as well. Duck of Death 5, wherever you are, we are this and thatting for you. So, folks, please start asking us this or that. Peanut butter or chocolate, Batman or Superman, etc., etc. And while we're waiting for them, of course, because it takes a little bit, let me just quickly pull up a list and throw some at Ruel. Ruel, bus or train?
Train.
Train, agreed. Car or truck?
Oh, close. Depends, but I lean towards car.
All right. Yes, I agree. Video game or books?
Ooh, I'm more of a book guy. I'm an analog guy through and through.
Me too, but only because video games are so dead to me. Pancakes or waffles?
Oh man,
I'm hitting you with the hard ones, obviously.
Yeah, I like waffles.
Okay, all right. I think I do too. I like the crunch. I prefer the crunch.
The crunch.
Although they are a bit more. I was gonna say they're more work because you got to get the butter into all the nooks and crannies. But you don't have to. And the thing is, a really nice, light, fluffy pancake can be really tough to get the butter across because it'll kind of like rip and all kinds of things. So, in the end, after much consideration, I'm going to go with waffles as well. And thank you very much, Malger, too, for subscribing. Apparently, this is the content that got Malger to say, oh, yeah, I gotta sign up for this business. Let's see. Have people started throwing stuff at us by now? I assume they have.
Okay, yeah. I'll throw some up here. Okay. We've got Fem Sensei says this or that, sandals or tennis shoes. Wow.
Honestly, I prefer sandals, but it's so hard to get ones. If the height of comfort of sandals versus the height of comfort of tennis shoes, I'll take sandals because I want to be open, I want to breathe. But generally speaking, it's harder to find sandals that don't rub me the wrong way in some way. So, blind taste test or blind shoe test, I would probably go with sneakers.
That's funny because I was thinking the same thing. Like I prefer sandals, but they're never always perfect for my feet. So that's why I'd rather go with tennis shoes, especially when you're in public. You don't know what's out there. But at home, I've got sandals where I just have my bare feet.
Oh, at home it's slippers, 24/7.
Yeah,
love these things.
Yep.
I need to get a replacement for these. These are really starting to reek. And I've run them through the washing machine a few times, but just to no avail.
Life may be over. Okay, what about phone call or text? I'm all about text.
Oh, sure.
It's changed over the years. Nowadays, if I get phone calls, I'm worried someone's like in trouble or something. So I tell them, don't call me unless it's an emergency.
Yeah. Is there anybody who wouldn't say text these days? I guess my mom, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Here's a funny one from we soloed pantsless or shirtless.
Oh
wow.
Pantsless easily. I mean, I'm assuming I still get to wear my. He didn't say. I assume I get to wear my underwear.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and under those circumstances,
pants off type.
Any day of the week, pantsless. I got a lot of work to do up here, but down there's okay.
Bing says Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones.
I am gonna go against the grain here and say Game of Thrones. Easy.
Wow. This is a tough one.
Are we talking TV show versus movie? Are we talking books versus books? Or are we just talking franchise versus franchise?
Let's keep it simple. Franchise versus franchise.
Okay, franchise. Okay, then on the whole, I would take Game of Thrones. I've never read the books, I never will, but on the TV show, and that includes the final season, which I think is fantastic. So there's another argument we could have if you want.
All right. As a younger Ruel would go with Lord of the Rings. Me right now, Game of Thrones.
Really?
Sure. Yeah. I loved Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. But you know what? I didn't read the books that much. It was all about the cartoon movie or whatever. Back in the day.
The Rankin Bass. Road goes ever on and on. Over hill and under dale. Yeah, I can sing all those songs. 15 birds in 5 fir trees, their feathers were fanned in a fiery breeze, etc., etc.
Wow, you've got me on that. Let's see. Wow, there's a bunch of these. I missed a bunch.
No, we can't.
We'll do a few more.
Okay. Thumbs up or thumbs down, final season of Game of Thrones?
Here, easy for me. I didn't watch it.
You just got out while the gig was good.
I gave up on it. Yeah, I gave up on it while it was, but one of these days I'll eventually get back to finishing it.
I guess it's good you're going in with reduced expectations, because it's fine. It's totally fine. Everybody were being a bunch of babies about it as far as I was concerned. It was a very fitting send-off. Not the greatest of all time, but definitely solid. And I feel I do have to justify my apparently rabid anti-Tolkien stance. Here's the thing. Books to books, I'm putting all that aside. This is movies to TV show, and The Fellowship of the Ring is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. The Two Towers and Return of the King, both a bit bloated and just like, okay, Gollum is great. There's a lot of good stuff, but do we need another freaking 40 minutes of battle scenes? No, I don't think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, whereas the times Game of Thrones, the TV show, disappointed me, very few and far between.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to agree 100% with that. Let's move on quick. We'll do a couple more and get out of this. Asian food or Italian food?
Oh, Italian food.
I'm definitely an Asian food guy.
Yeah.
Are you Italian or Asian?
I definitely. I mean, Asian food is fine, but it's never something I had a lot as a kid. So to this day, it's kind of a very alien taste to me. And I can appreciate, oh wow, there's really intricate ways that these things, but it's so weird to me. I can't find myself enjoying it. Plus, I'm never really a fan of mixing the sweet and the savory, which of course is a big thing in Asian cuisine. So that doesn't help either.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm an Asian food guy all the way through. Again, my background, Filipino American. I grew up with it, and just where I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley, it's literally not just a city, but an entire valley of different types of Asian food, different types of Asian cuisine. So yeah, definitely Asian food guy here. Let's go with wow. There's so many. We'll do a couple more.
Okay.
And
we spent a little bit too much time on a couple of them.
Yeah. How about Century Spice or Golem? Are you talking about the different?
Oh, I mean,
Century
do you prefer the Golem universe or the the Spice Road version?
Yeah.
The Real World or the Golem Fantasy Edition? I prefer the Golem Fantasy Edition because it's prettier, because it's got lovely big chunky plastic gems instead of wooden cubes. I suppose, strictly speaking, in terms of environmental impact, I should say the Real World Edition, because it's wooden cubes instead of a bunch more plastic. When it boils right down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, by that argument, I should just go with straight Century.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the Gollum edition as well. It's way prettier. And let's go on with this one. Meeples or Standees? I'm all about the Meeples.
Standees.
I love Meeples.
1,000%.
Really?
Because I am never going to paint
like
any of these Meeples, and unless they come pre-painted or with a wash, they're just big lumps of gray. Who wants to fill their table up with big lumps of gray?
Well, now they're saying Meeples or Meeples.
Meeples. Oh, I thought it was miniatures.
Yeah.
Miniatures.
Yeah.
That's the thing that okay. Sorry, Meeples or Standees still. I really like Standees.
Still.
Any opportunity to bring the art into the game. I mean, Meeples are sweet and charming and cute and all of that, but I mean, Meeples with stickers probably, but bearing that, I'd rather have more art to look at and gaze upon rather than Meeples, given my druthers. But you were Meeples?
I'm definitely Meeples. I love the little wooden bits.
Sure.
They're just funner to handle. But I do, if I had my choice, I would add those stickers to it to bring in some of the art, like you said.
Yeah.
We'll do one final one here, folks. Hot sauce or barbecue sauce? Says Bing.
That's gonna be tougher for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're a barbecue sauce.
Yeah. I mean, I can handle hot, spicy foods, no problem, but I've never really derived any joy from it. It's fine. Yeah. I don't get why people are so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to burning the inside of their mouth.
Yeah. Now, I used to be a super big hot sauce guy, but as my tastes have changed over the years, and I no longer derive pleasure from, burning the inside of my mouth or killing my stomach. So, but I'm still going to lean towards, I'll still go with hot sauce. I just don't do the super hot stuff anymore. I just enjoy the taste. Okay, so that is this or that. Thank you, friends, for all of those.
Yep.
Great suggestions.
And folks, if you would like to hear that again, look down at the bottom of the chat right now. There's a cursive R. As you watch, the longer you watch, provided you're logged into Twitch, you accrue points. Occasionally a little treasure chest appears, and you can click on that to get even more points. You can click on the R to spend those points on all kinds of things, including a future this or that, which I think, honestly, it's my favorite thing of all the stuff we have people do for us.
Same here. Yeah, right. By far, it's my favorite. I like those the best. It's tough to do the arguments because we can never find,
we have this argument. We could argue because you love the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. I am largely disappointed by them. We could have that argument.
Yeah.
I will lose, guaranteed. There's no point to even run a prediction on it, because pop culture is, but I don't enjoy it because I'm looking at it as the quality of a TV show as opposed to the quality of give me my childhood Star Wars experience, please. If I were judging it based on that, sure, I would love it as much as everybody else, but I don't have a deep, abiding childhood Star Trek nostalgia kick. So for me, the shows are, here's the deal. Jon Favreau, right? He's the showrunner. Look at it. He did Iron Man, and now he's done all this. Here's the deal, folks.
Yeah.
The original Iron Man, the one that started the MCU, that was not just Jon Favreau. That was such a mess of what was going on behind the scenes and everybody throwing stuff in at the last second. If you want more of a Jon Favreau thing, that's Iron Man 2, which is everybody's least favorite Iron Man. So how is the guy who's responsible for everybody's least favorite Iron Man is, the second coming savior of Star Wars, only because people were so sick and tired of George Lucas and then other people not giving them the exact Star Wars that they wanted. And they were going through withdrawals so long, for literally decades, that anybody who even just gave a passing nod to the original trilogy was going to get all the love and attention. That's my argument in a nutshell. And then I could actually talk about all the problems why
let's do this.
They're crappy shows.
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
All right, we're all arguing then. That's my opening. We are. Although it's not really my opening.
Okay.
My opening is putting aside nostalgia factors. Well, first of all, are you thumbs up, thumbs down Mandalorian? I think the problems with Mandalorian were much more immediately obvious and apparent to everybody, even people who are automatically predisposed to love it.
So as an original trilogy fan, like yourself, The Mandalorian is the closest thing out of everything.
I'm sorry. I meant Boba Fett. I meant Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett.
You are not going to use Boba Fett in your arguments for how great Disney Plus Star Wars shows are, correct?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start with Mandalorian because you got that's the 800-pound gorilla. That is the greatest thing outside of the original trilogy that's been released.
No, actually, the greatest thing outside, including the original trilogy, is still The Last Jedi. Putting aside childhood nostalgia factor, Last Jedi is the best constructed piece of science fiction. It is the one that is the strongest themes throughout. It is the most technically accomplished. It's stunning. It's beautiful. But we're not arguing about that today. Mandalorian is certainly, like I said, the greatest at getting original Star Wars vibes ever since original Star Wars. In fact, Mandalorian, I would even go one step further, is the greatest at getting A New Hope vibes when it boils right down to it. Because it sticks to the, it's just a Western in space. Fine. Okay, boom. Done.
Yeah. And that's the brilliance of Favreau. He went back to the original source material and he said, we're going to do this exactly the way George Lucas did it. George Lucas was influenced by samurai movies by Akira Kurosawa.
Sure.
And Favreau went back, and there's a great comic book called Lone Wolf and Cub. Which is basically the Mandalorian, folks, but in space. And he took that, ran with it, and that's why it was brilliant. That's why the TV shows that Disney's producing are out freaking standing. Now,
well, when you say TV, you mean the one TV show, because the less said about Boba Fett, the better.
I'm gonna say 1.5. We'll say 1.5.
Okay, because there was that one Mandalorian episode of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. Now, of course. So, but then come on. It's got Grogu, Baby Yoda. That's all you need.
Baby Yoda is got to be one of the most brilliant toy marketing schemes. So when you say that Favreau really channeled his inner George Lucas, that's where he did it. Making an entire new empire of toys to sell to people in a way that, I mean, people are not going crazy for Return of the Jedi toys or Rey toys or any of the rest of the stuff. Everybody had to have my mom has a freaking Baby Grogu or Baby Yoda Grogu thing about this tall. I got it for her because she loved the show so much. I will say that the show is well put together. And certainly it's an incredibly important show in terms of, it's behind the scenes production, the way they use what's called the volume, where they're filming things real, surrounded by LED screens. So all that stuff's amazing. My problem with it as a show is, one, the Mandalorian himself is not a particularly interesting or dynamic character. Both he and Boba Fett suffer from the same core issue as protagonists. They are 100% reactive to everything they're doing. Okay, what am I going to do this week? Oh, somebody tells me to go do something. I will continue my video game quest. That's what he does, week after week after week. He is never an active agent in moving the story forward. And in fact, he's a klutz. He's really not very good at his job. I don't understand why it was like, I think the next to the last episode, the one, by the way, minor spoilers here and there, but not going into particulars, where the beacon was lit and, and the Dark Stormtrooper came, oh my gosh, Dark Stormtroopers! Say everybody who ever read any, actually, heck, I thought it was cool because I played the old video game from LucasArts. It was fun. But the way, I'm going to go try and save Baby Grogu, I will literally butt my head into a force field. Oh, that didn't work. I'll try it again. Nope, didn't work. I will literally try it a third freaking time because I am that woefully incompetent as a character. And for me, the real issue with him is I get the story, all that, why he is a man with no face. A man with no face is implicitly less interesting you can't make a human connection with him as well, which is why some people are upset that every chance he gets, he takes that dang helmet off, and Boba Fett takes his helmet off way too much. But it is because the showrunners realize, okay, for somebody other than diehard Star Wars fans, we need to allow the audience at some point to make a human connection with this man. For me, there are things I really loved about Mandalorian. Specifically, every time it wasn't about Mandalorian. Every time it was about some poor, schlubby Empire officer or grunt. There were like 3 or 4 moments in the show where they did that, and those were like, oh my gosh, give me that show. Give me a show of ex-Empire people trying to rebuild and just bitter about the war they lost. That's a fascinating, interesting show. But, geez Louise, just... the world's most, or the universe's most incompetent bounty hunter who only ever does what people tell him to do, and every week he goes from place to place, has the most rote, by the numbers. Okay, this is, 7 Samurai. Okay, they're gonna work together and save the village. And, what do you know? They did exactly what you thought they were gonna do. Oh, it's a jailbreak one. Okay, how's it gonna work? Oh, they're gonna betray him? What do you know? It's exactly what you expected. Every episode, beat by beat by beat. I can never anticipate stuff. This show never surprised me, except when they turned their camera away from Mandalorian. So, a different show, focusing differently, would have been amazing for me. I'll shut up now because I'm kind of a dick in debates. I'm putting myself in the back to tank, so you can talk for a bit.
Yes.
I'm in carbonite.
Hydrate and take the back to tank, enjoy it. I love those points. Those are all fantastic points. They're wrong, but they're fantastic.
Right, thank you.
Because the show, like you said, it's the closest that captures the feeling of Star Wars. And as we look back at Star Wars, we all know it's not perfect. And, you're going to miss certain things and other... the show on a week-to-week basis, yes, at that first season, it was a little bit of that monster of the week type thing, right? But as the show evolves, you cannot tell me that character, the Mandalorian Din Djarin, does not evolve as a character, because by the end of it, especially, and then when he comes back into Boba Fett, spoiler alert, he comes back in Boba Fett, that character, I mean, his bond with little baby Grogu. I mean, come on, this is exciting. The Mandalorian season 3 is going to be amazing. You got the dark saber, and all that lore behind it. I mean, come on, he's going back to
again.
Mandalore,
You're being excited about ticking Star Wars boxes. So you mentioned one thing that isn't just ticking more Star Wars boxes, and it is that that he himself goes through a character arc. He goes from a cold, heartless, bitter man to somebody who can feel and invest in the welfare of others. That's cool. You know what else that is? Incredibly predictable. I mean, as soon as the first episode, that little thing popped up, and look, it's a little baby. Okay, I know exactly where this is going. There's not going to be a single surprise. There's not going to be a single anything other than just ticking the boxes in a very, very rote, standard, written by, grade schoolers level type thing. And it's fine. Again, it's so wonderfully done. I have nothing but the respect for all the artisans and craftspeople who put that show together, but it's all in service of such a simple and, to me, ultimately unengaging A to B to C, and never shall we actually veer and do anything other than exactly what was written down. You knew exactly where that was going to go. I mean,
wait, okay. So in that first episode, when we saw Baby Yoda, who became Grogu, did you really think it was going to go the way it did for those first seasons to where it ended on that second season?
You yourself, I think it was immediately obvious to everybody that, this is immediately going to be Lone Wolf and Cub. Okay, instantly. As soon as you see it there, you instantly know that's what it's going to be. Like you said, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. It's a brilliant idea. Fuse A New Hope with Lone Wolf and Cub. And by the way, we're at it, make a new empire of toys to sell. That's the remit, and they did that. But they did it in the most standard, straightforward, uninteresting way possible, which is why every time it was a show not about the Mandalorian, but literally almost any other character, I was suddenly interested. Whether it was Old West Sheriff, okay, you're much more interesting than the title character of this show. Whether it was bitter, grizzled ex-Empire officer, you're more interesting. Whether it was Gus Fring in space, you're definitely more interesting.
The fact they said Gus Fring in space, someone clip that. Y'all know how to use the clip function in Twitch. We need that. Gus friggin' space.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you again. You were continuing.
No. I mean, yes, it's coming from a deep love of Star Wars.
Yeah.
The nostalgia factor is off the charts here, but still say it's a solidly crafted story. Yes, I will give you some of the parts may be predictable, and some parts may be, going from A to B to C. But I still think there's plenty in that series that makes it high quality Star Wars and high quality sci-fi at that point for Disney Plus, and I want to see where they're going to continue going with it. I cannot wait, and I'm not just gonna be there for the toys as much as I love little baby Yoda. I will be there for the story and characters as well.
Yep. All right,
Gus Fring in space. That's to me, that's the line of the show right there. Gus Fring in space.
Yep. The Death Los Polos Hermanos.
That is the true empire.
There
folks.
you go. There's the show we want to see. Okay, folks, we're gonna put a poll up. I expect I know which way this is gonna go, but thumbs up. Ultimately, that was supposed to be about Star Wars in general, but it was clearly a requiem on Mandalorian because, I mean, what the heck happened with Boba Fett, right?
Yeah. Now Boba Fett, you know what it was for me. What I felt. Like, The Mandalorian was what everyone wanted Boba Fett to be, but it was already, they couldn't, retell his story in that way because he was stuck in, the Sarlacc pit for all that time. So, I don't know. I thought the Boba Fett was a mess, but I'm still, again, once The Mandalorian showed up, I was like, okay, I'm back in it, And,
I thought the stuff that they were trying to do with Boba Fett was genuinely interesting. To me, it was unexpected. Oh, okay, let's actually take this guy and have him through a fundamental sea change. Let's not actually justify it. I mean, why he went from most ruthless bounty hunter in the world to savior of spaceports makes no sense, and they never actually earned it. But at least they were trying to do something. And obviously, the reason I think the fundamental problem with the show is, the weird, hey, let's jump back and forth in time, really didn't do them any favors. That is a very hard, like a lot of shows do it, and very few shows do it well. I don't think they did it very well, because you have to do it so that, cutting back to the past accentuates what's happening in the present, when in fact it just kind of felt arbitrary. If they had actually just told his story straight, okay, Return of the Jedi, hey, this is what happened, and then this is what happened to him for the next 15 years, or whatever, how long it is. And now, hey, we get to episode 4 and 5. Here's what he's doing now. I think it probably would have worked better. It would have been a more solid story, and they could have actually found ways to get more interesting through lines thematically and character-wise.
Agreed.
As opposed to just the weird jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And on that note, I do want to say that I really appreciated what they did with the Tusken Raiders. Like, they actually humanize the Tusken Raiders, right? And I thought that was brilliant, and I loved that. But again, it just, like you said, everything just seemed so thrown together and not, like, consistent. The tone was off on a couple of scenes. But anyways, there's our poll.
Yeah, no surprise. I mean, we all knew that's where it was going, and that's okay.
Yep.
I know I'm in the minority here, and I will happily continue to be in the minority. But yes, 84%. I would have liked to think I could have done a bit more. Although I do see somebody threw quite a few channel points in to make that happen.
Oh, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me.
Yep.
Not this time.
And after all that is done, no one in the world is more excited than me for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
Obi-Wan. That's what it redeems everything. And I'm just there for Ewan McGregor. Such an incredibly amazing, charismatic actor, playing a well-loved character. Who's the showrunner? I haven't actually looked. I don't care, though. I am there day one, hour one, at midnight, whenever it is, for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And hopefully that will spark my inner child. Because, hey, I loved the prequels. I think, on the whole, the prequels are better than the original trilogy.
Okay, yeah. I need to step away for a second. Can I can you hold the show for a few minutes?
Do so.
Thank you, sir.
You will be back, right? You're not going to leave me with these people? All right. Oh, he's gone. He is gone, folks. All right. Oh, he even hung up. Okay. Well, then, hopefully everything's okay. He'll tell us when he comes back. Let's see. Ruel is going to go scream into a pillow. I am certain. What else? I'm sure. Hopefully I didn't make too many people, vomit on their keyboards while I was, doing my very non-standard view of again, I mean, it was certainly watchable. I was there every week, but yeah, did not, catch fire with me, I have to say. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll. Actually, first, has anybody asked any questions yet? Nope. By the way, folks, throughout the show, if you ever want to get our attention, make sure we don't miss something as you have a question, start your question with a question mark. It'll go into a special queue so we won't miss it later. Because after we're done with the real show, we'll try and do some Q&A afterwards. So, questions for either me or Ruel, start the comment with a question so it goes into the special queue. I wonder if I should make it something other than a question. I wonder if that's confusing. I wonder if I should say, start the comment with the letter Q or something like that. But then probably accidental things will get caught anyway. All right. And okay, I'm just going to scroll up to a random space, and then I am just going to start going down and seeing if there's anything of interest to me. Zeta Rex says Lord of the Rings wins for me. Getting back to that earlier discussion. Here's the thing. I actually did try to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy when I was younger, and I gave up. I mean, I read The Hobbit because that was a pretty light, easy read. But what I recall from trying to read the original books was, and then the Fellowship walked over a hill. And off into the distance, there were many trees. And here were all the colors of the trees. And so they continued on. And they came around a corner. And they could see the mountains in the distance. As I recall, it was an incredible slog with way too many travelogue, attention to detail type things, and I never actually finished them. And I probably should go back and read them as an adult. But that's another reason why it's... I mean, again, The Fellowship of the Ring, the feature film, is amazing. Easily one of my 10 favorite films of all time. And I say that as somebody who does not have a deep, abiding love of Tolkien. It was just so masterfully crafted by Peter Jackson. A Peter Jackson, by the way, who was actually bound and constrained by... And that actually made it better. Because when Peter Jackson is left to his own devices, things go long, don't they? All right, what else has anybody said? All right, Mom Gamer, hey, it's great to have you. Haven't seen you live forever. Where have you been? I hope everything's been fine. One of my favorite people. All righty, you got a hug. I see that. All right. Darth Vader, of course, is just a guy in a helmet, and he is amazing. Is he? Is he, though? He's a one-note villain. He serves no purpose other than classic, serialized movies, which is what George Lucas is trying to do. The only problem is his helmet covers up his mustache, so he can't twirl his mustache as he puts the maiden on the railroad tracks. He is certainly amazing in terms of visuals. The decision to use a scuba regulator in the bottom of a bucket or however they made his breathing sound, all of that stuff is fantastic. And of course, James Earl Jones, you have him read the telephone book, and it's amazing because one, his voice, but also his gravitas. The Darth Vader himself is a weird mishmash of a character. In the beginning of the first movie, he's just kind of a yes man to some middle management general. He says, well, sorry, I didn't mean to choke anybody too terribly much. And and so they kind of shift course with him over the course of the movie, but really, his main focus, his main utility in the movie, more than anything else, is to be just a scary force of nature, that's not a character, and to be a mirror for Luke, who is the real hero that we are following, who's on the hero's journey. So in that regard, he's useful, but is he really that great a character on his own? I don't think so. He's a really great, again, scary villain. But, and that's cool. And, you know what? Mandalorian, probably, they would have been able to have a much easier time making him a really cool, scary villain. Because, another way to make somebody scary, don't give them a face. Don't allow us to have that human connection with them. They're trying to make Mando a hero, not a villain. So that's an issue there as well. And, let's see.
I should be back.
Oh, okay. I hear you, but I do not see you. There you are. Hooray.
Hi.
Okay.
Thanks for holding down the fort. Taking care of the pugs, and they're okay.
Okay. Oh, everything fine with
we've got two pugs, folks. So you don't know. Michelle and I adopted two pugs about a month and a half ago, and they can be a little rambunctious. I don't know if you can hear them barking in the background. I've got the door closed, but they're all good now. They're getting a little crazy earlier, but
okay. So
you see that you've been talking about the Mandalorian the whole time I was gone.
I just went back and I started looking at stuff. I said hey to some people, and somebody said, well, hey, Darth Vader was a guy in a mask, and that worked out pretty well. And so I just went on a 5-minute rant about the difference between the functional villain versus actual central hero protagonist, and why different things are required of the different in the different milieus. Okay. So yeah, and I talked a bit more about Lord of the Rings too. Just kept it total geeky while you were gone.
I love it.
Okay, I am marking off that argument. I would say it's argued, it's been adjudicated by the audience. Mandalorian is the greatest thing of all time, apparently, and I am clearly in the wrong, and that's okay. All right.
Sounds good.
That took a while. We've got some more stuff backed up, but I think we got to get to the show.
Yeah, I was going to say that took a lot longer than I thought, but that's okay because we got stuff to talk about after the show as well.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So first of all, plenty of stuff to do.
Let's give some stuff away. Alrighty.
Yeah.
It's the wheel. And by the way, the full screen Rahdo runs through logo, I thought that was just way too much. It was just too overloading seeing the whole thing spin. So I put in a little tiny thing in the center. And I brought back the click. Because I actually tried a bunch of other stuff. There's so many things. There's pop songs, disco. They're all terrible because they all just stay at full length and full energy, even though the wheel's just going tick, 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 tick. And it's like if they just if as the wheel slowed down, if they would bring down the volume, they would work. But we're just back to basics, folks. And one of you lucky folks, let me hit the shuffle a few more times. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Is going to win either Sherlock 13 if you're in North America, or Azul Summer Pavilion if you are elsewhere. Let's see who gets it.
Hey, good luck, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Reminds me of the old record players, and you have that little thing in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's looking like Louis Chora. Congratulations.
Well done.
All right. Louis, I don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to really quickly check Louis's email because it'd be kind of nice to know.
Okay.
I mean, we made the switch. I should have still said, people, please say what country you're in, but I stopped doing that and I find out after the fact. Let's see here. Louis probably did not say where he's from. Louis Chora. Nope, he did not. So, Louis, I'll contact you later today. I'll find out where in the world is Louis, and you will be getting, either way, a very, very cool game in the mail. So, that is nice.
All right.
And now we got to get going.
Cool.
What's our secret word going to be?
I mean, gosh, when did we talk? We talked a ton of Star Wars.
We did. Well, and it's a good thing we did it now, because that would have been pretty sacrilegious for me to be making those arguments on May the 4th, I have to say.
Right. Yeah.
Burn it to the ground!
I mean, none of my games, I don't think any of the games that we're going to talk about have any, well, one of them I could probably squeeze in something.
Well, I mean, what word? I mean, obviously Star Warsy type things. Mando, Grogu, Baby Yoda. Can you throw Baby Yoda in? Somebody earlier suggested Goop.
Goop? Oh,
because of the goop in my ear
thing.
That
interesting.
Went astray.
Could you? Man, how would I fit? I don't know. Goop? Could you do Goop?
I could do Goop. I think I could do it in. Well, no, actually, no. I could do Goop. Yeah.
Really?
I'll do it. I'm doing Goop.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good one, I think. All right.
Cool.
The secret word, folks, is Goop. Although, as Ruckus says, really, the secret word should be rant, as in a Rahdo rant. That's something new that people should unlock. Rahdo, I just want you to rant about X for an uninterrupted 2 minutes, completely off the cuff. I could do it.
Yeah.
I did a lot of. I did some debate stuff in high school, and it wasn't. No, it wasn't debate. It wasn't debate. It was mock trials. I was involved in mock trial society stuff.
Really?
So yeah, that was all about just making arguments and stuff like that.
Were you primed to go into a law career at that point?
No. It was in one of our classes.
Got it.
What do you call it? The civics class, and they just had us recreate famous landmark law trials and argue both sides. And so I remember I used to do that a fair bit. But anyway, we have the word. It is Goop. We need to have everybody fight to survive, because only one can come through the crucible unscathed. So let's have a battle royale. Alrighty. And hopefully people can hear the plane coming. I think I set it up before we started. Right.
There you go, folks. Time for the old battle royale.
Fight! And there they go. Wow, that is a big group of people. I can't see anybody. Let's see. I'm going to follow Dungeon Sound System because he is looking fine with his knight, his double swords, and his Princess Peach hairdo. And so far, he's pretty much untouched. Just over there in the corner, I mean, he's just like a lawnmower, just moving forward, just working his way through everyone, and everyone seems to ignore him. He's just, jucking and jiving and just stabbing and running all over the place. He's been responsible for 2 or 3 people, and yet he's still at half health. And but Nazgoth, from the very death, Nazgoth grabbed a health pack, but it didn't save him because Fidelia hit him down hard. And meanwhile, over Dungeon Sound System, how the mighty have fallen. Nazgoth comes in with a smashing double hammer and stabs him in the back, and then Nazgoth is down. And all of a sudden, where did Fidelia and Capper's here? New fighter Capper's here, never seen them before, coming in with full health and some crazy loco eyes. Fidelia, I don't think you're gonna do well with that ice cream cone. Run, Fidelia! Run! Keep running, get the health back, Fidelia! Run! Oh, come on! Get it, kitty cat, get it! Oh, yes! Now it's a fight, nice. But no, it's not much of a fight. Backstab from Fidelia! Gets Happier is here. And Happier is on the run now. Fidelia, get another stab in! You might turn it around. No, you did not.
Oh.
It's either Cappier is here or Happier is here is the winner. First time winner.
Well done.
Yeah, Happier is here. Happier here. Congratulations. Happier here is certainly happier now. They have 100 gold they can use to buy themselves a hat or a new set of eyes. Because the Peter Lorre, both eyes going in both directions, is clearly what freaked everybody else out on the battlefield and led to victory.
Do people know who Peter Lorre is, folks?
Kabuki Kid does. If nothing else, every reference you and I would ever come up with, we know for a fact there's at least one person in the audience who gets it.
Nice. Cool. All right. Happier here. Well done.
Cool. Okay, so the secret word is goop. Let me make sure the overhead camera hasn't crashed. Yep. Hey, look what's on the table. It's Aquasphere, which is awesome. Let me make sure I've got everything else. Oh, yeah?
Aquatica, right? Or Aquasphere?
Did I say Aquasphere? I'm glad I made that mistake now, because that's a mistake I'll make all the time. Given the opportunity, I'll always reference the Stefan Feld game with a name that's somewhat similar.
Too much Stefan Feld on the brain.
Yep. Aquatica. Okay. You know what? Maybe, just so I don't do it, when you say, hey, Rahdo, what's that on your table? Maybe you want to say, is that Aquatica on your table? You might actually do me a favor, because I'm probably going to mess that up again.
Sure, I can lean into that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's see here. And we've got our browser view. We don't need that anymore. Oh, wait, I put you in the background, put you in the foreground. Right, we've got our first entry. Tabs for a cause. I'm loving it. I'm going to open up a new tab right now. And let's see. I'm at 757 hearts. Yay!
Wow.
At the beginning, I was at 12 or something like that. And this is obviously an old tab I opened up 2 hours ago because I only signed up for it this morning. And again, I'm very impressed by it. So anyway, that's your entry, I don't know what it is yet. I've just got a YouTube link. When I click it, I'll find out what your number 10 is. So that is queued up. Mm-hmm. We've got the overhead queued up. We've got the sponsor of the show queued up. Okay, I think we're good to go, unless you can think of anything.
I'm going to sip some water, and I'm good to go.
That's a good idea. Oh, turn on hey, everybody. So we are going to start, in case you're new here, we are going to start recording our weekly R&R show, which is a show we put on YouTube tomorrow. It's a top 10 countdown. We're continuing our top 100 of all time. And let me put the find other episodes thing at the bottom of the screen. Got to set that up as well. So while we're recording this, we are going to be treating this like we are live on a soundstage recording a show, and none of you are here. So, if events are happening or whatnot, unless something goes terribly wrong, we're just going to plow through it, record the show. If you have any questions for us that pop up while we're doing we're doing 30 to 21 this week. So we're getting close to the end. If you have any questions or thoughts, start your questions with a question mark so it will go into our special queue, and we'll stick around for some Q&A after the show. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And so otherwise, I think we're ready. And can you think of anything else?
No, I think you covered it. Yeah, you got the secret word, and we've got everything else covered. We're good.
Okay, and I don't think anybody has said we have. Last week, we definitely had bad volume. I was much quieter than you, but I don't think anybody has mentioned anything about that so far. So I think we should be good to go.
Okay.
Then let's do it.
Let me just check here. Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're good to go.
All right, perfect today, says Forest of Glass. It's interesting. I think I'm averaging a little bit quieter than you. Because I'm kind of averaging in the low yellow, you're averaging in the high yellow. Maybe, again, there's the timbre of our voice that, it's, our presentation. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
But,
and then,
yeah. Oh, sorry.
And then afterwards, before you post on YouTube, do you run it through filters or anything like that? Or
if it's really off, actually what I do is, for folks who don't know, if you enjoy this show, but you have to be on the road a lot, did you know this is available in podcast form as well? You can go to podcast.rahdo.com and subscribe to the podcast, where every month I do a new podcast episode, and every episode of the R&R Show, both the full, what we're doing today, and then also just the show itself. The 1 hour versus the 2 hour is up. My monthly roundup, a bunch of stuff. Literally, probably 20 hours worth of podcast content goes up on podcast.rahdo.com every month. If you would like to listen rather than watch, or if you've got long walks or long drives or long bus rides or train rides in your future. So just in case you didn't know. But anyway, that was an ad for that. And we are good to go otherwise. Okay.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. One last sippy sip. And then the sound thing. So it's easy for me to find later. And here we go. Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Arcane Wonders. And hello, Ruel. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic, Richard. Thanks for that intro. And, I just want to make sure everything's okay with the dizziness spells and all that.
Thank you for asking. Yep, actually, I talked about it on guild.rahdo.com. There was a thread devoted to it. It turns out I have something called BPPV, which is the most common source of vertigo. And it was the B in BPPV stands for benign. It was totally safe. I basically had some weird crystals floating around loose in my inner ear that made me think I was moving when I wasn't. I was able to do some head positioning stuff, and I am 100% better. No ongoing issues so far. If you'd like to know more about it, folks, maybe you even suffer from it. A lot of people do. Go to guild.rahdo.com and look for the thread, The Diagnosis is In. I put up some YouTube videos about it and all that. Very interesting stuff. Thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better. Whoa.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Ooh, okay.
Yep.
Glad to hear that. And you know what? I was going to ask you, is that Aquatica on your table there?
Well, that's a good eye, sir. Yes, it is Aquatica from sponsor of the show, Arcane Wonders, and I love this game so much. I'm sure you played it, right?
Yes.
Do you love it too?
Yeah, absolutely
as much
love
as me?
this game. Yes.
Yep. Well, for folks who don't know, this is an absolutely brilliant card drafting game where everybody has a hand of cards that basically give them different powers, and on your turn, you're just going to play one of those cards every turn and do what it says. The majority of what you're trying to do is grab new undersea locations, undersea characters, and take them and slot them into your board, which is so cool because this is actually a triple layer board, and they slip in smooth as silk like this. But what happens is, as you're slotting them in, you are unlocking powers because on a future turn, because I at some point got this undersea kingdom here and I slotted it in, it's just waiting for me to spend 2 coins to recruit somebody else. And when I do that, as a free action, I can just, hey, I'll consume those 2 coins to recruit another card for my deck. Or this one over here, oh, I needed 3 coins? I'll use that card as well. And, oh, hey, look what happened. Because I just used this coin, I got to this little bonus that says, hey, I can slide up anything I want. How about I slide this one up, which gives me 3 points that I can spend for recruiting an undersea, or, conquering an undersea volcano. And so on. And what we're trying to do is, as you get more and more of these cards and you slip them in here, you're trying to create interesting combo chains, because ultimately you want all of these cards slid up, because then one of your characters lets you take and score them. And then that clears out more space so you can get more cards and slowly unlock another string of interesting powers, trying to get them unlocked. And every time you play, you're going to get a unique set of 4 objectives that everybody's racing to do, and you're trying to get lots of points. One of your cards is always kept aside because that's the one, when you play it, you recover your hand. And over the course of the game, your hand gets bigger and more powerful, and you get more and more cool powers. But what always has made Aquatica so cool is this board that everybody has, and it's just so satisfying, the way these just slot in. You know how there's those videos on YouTube, top 10 satisfying things, and they're always videos of things slipping into slots really nicely.
Yep.
This should make it onto those videos. It just feels so good to play with this. And on top of that, you have all these manta rays you start with, which have powers. You unlock more of them. These are cool powers you can use too. And that's just the base game. There is also a very cool expansion called Cold Waters that does a few significant, the most big one is, it changes the original objective system with a new one. Instead of 4 objectives, there's now 8. And when you're racing to complete these objectives, they're worth points, but they also give you powers, either instant super powerful ones or ongoing powers. Plus, another cool new thing is, like, this is actually one of the new characters. Look at that little cutie. When you use them and they go into the discard pile, as long as they're on top of the discard pile, they'll give you more ongoing powers as well. So the Cold Waters expansion takes an already brilliant game and makes it even better. One of my favorite card drafting games of all time. Again, because of the satisfaction you get every time you slip something into place. It is absolutely brilliant. Aquatica.
Oh, that's so great. I cannot wait to try it. Michelle and I loved Aquatica, so I cannot wait to get that expansion and try that out. Oh, that looks great.
Cool. I heartily recommend it for anybody who likes card drafting. And I guess you could kind of consider it an engine builder, but an engine builder where your engines are very short-lived because you're just trying to get them done,
totally.
And then spent and scored, and then rebuilding on and on again. Cannot recommend it highly enough. So that's what's on the table from sponsor of the show, Arcane Wonders. But that's not all that's going on. Ruel, we have a contest this week. It is not for Aquatica, but it's for something else that is equally cool. I absolutely adore the game Encyclopedia. It recently finished its Kickstarter run. It was a hugely successful one from Holy Grail Games, and it's what do you call it? The Pledge Manager is now open, so people can still order if they want to get the big super deluxe set. And one lucky viewer this week is going to win a deluxe set of Encyclopedia, which has got to be one of the cleverest dice worker placement games to have come out in quite a while. Big, colorful, lot of stuff going on, and you can watch my run through, which is what we're showing on screen right now, to learn a little bit more about it. And the question is, Ruel, how do they win?
All right, folks. So you're going to be watching the show today, the R&R Show, as we continue our countdown of the top 100 games of all time. And you're going to listen to one of us say the word goop.
Yes.
G-O-O-P, goop. And one of us is going to say it during the show. And what you're going to do is listen to it, and whatever game we're talking about that time, we want to know the name of the game that we're talking about, and you send it in an email to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win your very own copy of Encyclopedia. So the magic or the secret word, magic word, whatever you want to call it, is goop, and one of us will say it, and you don't tell us we said goop. Tell us when we said it. What game are we talking about when we said that? Again, email to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win.
There you go. And somebody is going to be very, very happy to win this because it's a fantastic game. Again, watch my run through.
Nice.
And again, folks, during this top 10 countdown, we're about to start right now, continuing our top 100 of all time. One of us will say goop. Why? Or is one of us going to say goop? Well, if you want to know that, you're going to have to check out the extended edition of this show. If you can hit that I in the top right corner screen or follow the links down in the show notes, we're going to talk for about an hour today, talking about a bunch of games we really love, our favorites of all time. But there's like a whole nother hour we'd streamed live this week, doing things like Mandalorian, thumbs up or thumbs down. And, what else did we do in the extended show today? That took a long time.
We talked about Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we did a bunch of pop culture stuff. And after this show's over, we're going to do some Q&A with the audience asking us about our choices and whatnot. You can always catch us on Tuesdays live on Twitch if you'd like to watch the show live and see a whole bunch more stuff. But if you can't make it, like I said, hit that I, follow links in the show notes to watch the extended edition of the show. Now, we're going to draw for Encyclopedia on next week's episode, which will be May 17th. So you have until May 17th to get that entry in. And with that out of the way, I think we're ready to continue the countdown. Ruel, are you ready to talk about our number 30 of the best games of all time? The 30th best game.
Yeah. We are getting to the best of the best, and I've got some, in my mind, some classics coming up here. Mm-hmm. So we do the shared list, folks, and number 30 on our shared list is... Yes. Number 30 is... Azul. Now... I put this on here thinking of the entire family of Azul games because we start with the base game, Azul. We have Class of Central. We have Summer Pavilions, and we just had Queen's Garden come out as well. Mm-hmm. I think they're all fantastic. But I'm going to focus on the base game here that you see that you did a run through many, many years ago.
Oh, gosh, yes.
There's just, what's that?
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, Azul has been with us for quite a while.
Yes, and... it's the reason why it's an evergreen title. It is such a wonderfully streamlined game. It's an abstract game, which I was surprised. I didn't think an abstract game like this would go over, as big as it got. But it's because it's so fantastic. You're drafting these tiles. You're laying them out on your player board, nice and neat. You're trying to get different sets of them to line up with each other so you can score every turn. But then you also have end game goals. You want a complete set for 10 points, or you want a vertical line or a horizontal line. just everything about it. Now, again, it's abstract, so if there is some kind of theme of I think you're some workers putting tiles in the king's quarters or whatever, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the beautiful, streamlined, just very, very elegant gameplay here. Picking tiles, choosing them, and then every time you choose a tile, the rest of them go like in the middle, and then eventually you're gonna draw from the middle. You want to do the thing that really always gets me is you try to be efficient with your placement, right?
Yeah.
Because every single time I'm gonna drop tiles because if they're not the same color, or you choose something that not the same color, if you choose something that goes over the line, as you can see, you have the blue ones there. If I selected 3 more blue ones, 2 of them would drop because I need the room to place them. Oh, it's so good. Michelle and I played. This might be the most played game in our collection. Honestly,
wow.
I think we're talking like up there past the 50 mark, maybe 60 times. It's still a joy to bring out during the holidays with family, friends who have never played games or are new to modern board games. Will bring this one out. That's why it's our number 30 of all time, Azul.
An excellent choice. I'm sure a lot of people agree. I mean, as you said, it was kind of surprising how well it did when it came out. But it has since gone on to spawn kind of like a renaissance of abstract games ever since then, because the whole industry thought, whoa, nobody expected something to do as well as that. And since then, we've just been getting lots of really great follow-ons. But there's been a lot of Azul killers out there that have tried to ascend the throne, and very few come close. Azul is still so well loved, and it's gotten so many spin-offs and expansions and all of that. For my money, I would say Azul Queen's Garden is the best. Which would you say if you could have one Azul? Which would it be?
If as much as I love the base game, that you're right, that Queen's Garden, it literally takes it to the next level with just it's way more crunchy and more complex. But if I had to make a choice, I would probably go Queen's Garden. But I have so much love for the base game as well. Okay, Aaron, it's not just me then. There's microphone issues. Yep. I was freaking out there for a second. Oh. Thank you, friends in chat, for letting us know.
Alrighty, well, there you go then.
I was freaking out for a moment. I was like, is that my volume again? There you go. There you go.
That was it's the mic, every single thing now, systematically. For folks who don't know, I've been having a problem for months where audio would just go out every once in a while. For the record, never, ever does it fail when I'm filming. It only fails when I'm streaming. And I've tried everything. I bought a new computer. I bought different USB hubs. I've now bought different cables. Every single thing has systematically been exterminated except for this microphone itself. So this afternoon, I'm buying a new mic, I guess. If anybody has any recommendations, by all means, put a question mark on them so I'll see them in the comments and the questions when we get to the end. Alrighty.
What were you using?
It's a Blue Yeti Nano. I really like it. The sound is good. It was cheap. It was $90 new. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm inclined to get another one, but I really shouldn't, because, fool me once, shame on you. Again, it works 100% of the time when I'm filming, just not when I'm streaming. That's so frustrating.
So weird.
It's the driver, says Fem Sensei. I know at one point I did confirm all my drivers were up to date. Are you suggesting maybe I should go back to an older driver? I guess maybe. Oh, and that's the other thing, too. I mean, I literally swapped machines. So I had to put in a new machine. So the new machine does have the updated drivers. It is a fair point. You know what? We still got to film the show. And so, folks, please explode me if it fails again. That is so disappointing. But we got to get on. So when did I drop out? What was the last thing you heard me say?
So it was we had talked about Azul. We were wrapping up the Azul, going to the next game. We had talked about how it spawned all the other Azuls in the family.
I was just starting to go on about how it's actually more thematic than people think. None of that came through?
Oh, okay, yeah, we had talked about how it started the trend of new abstracts.
Yeah.
But if you want to go into that next section, that'd be great.
We got other stuff to do, and now I'm worried that the sound is going to fail on me again.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Forest of Glass suggests I, post a thorough summary of everything on the guild, because up till now it's always just been kind of a very ad hoc tech support thing. That's fair enough. I will do that this afternoon, because I do like this mic, and that's got to mean something, that it never fails when I'm recording, and it always only fails when I'm streaming. It's failed in Streamlabs OBS and regular OBS, but never when I'm recording, only when I'm streaming and recording. It's weird. Anyway, though, so we got to get back to it. So I am just going to say, but enough about that. We got to move on. Yeah. Okay. No, folks, and I'm being told my sound just dropped out for a second. Apologies, that can happen when you're doing a live stream. But anyway, well, I could not agree more. Azul, easily, a lot of people would agree, it's probably in their top 10s, and putting in the top 30 just makes sense. Good call, sir.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's move on to something even better, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Number 29 on our list is Project Elite. And oh my goodness, do I love this game so much. There is no board game today that does a better job of capturing the frenetic feel of a high-octane video game in board game form, with a whole bunch of miniatures, a whole bunch of cards, and a whole bunch of dice. This is basically, it's kind of a James Cameron's Aliens type scenario, where wave after wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of alien are going to just keep on rolling over us. And what happens is, we have a timer. I believe there's a timer app you can get, or you can just use anything. You can use your smartphone or whatever. I think the game actually even comes with like a cheap little plastic timer. And we plan out, a whole bunch of stuff is spawned. We know what they're going to do. We know what their powers are. Let's come up with a plan, and then we start the countdown. I believe it's a 2-minute long countdown, and we roll our dice as fast as we possibly can. We need to roll these dice to be able to move our characters around, to be able to charge up our guns, to be able to open fire, to be able to search and interact with the environment. And so we are rolling, desperately trying to get what we need. The problem is, every one of our dice, one of the faces has an alien face on it. And every time we roll one of those, we have to pick one alien somewhere on the board and move them farther towards the dropship or the base or whatever it is that we're trying to protect. The board is covered with arrows. So in the real time, full on panic mode, it's very, very easy to control them. All you do is, I got to pick some alien somewhere and move, and I can't roll anymore until I do. And so you get this sense that, wow, I mean, these things are coming for us. The more we do, the more they come for us. We don't have much control over them. We only have so much time to be able to achieve our objectives. And what I love about this game most is it's a cooperative game, and we work together so much. There have been so many times when I get into the perfect position and I've got a sniper rifle that only shoots in a straight line but really far and just takes out anything, and I'm like, okay, I'm just rolling. I'm just trying to get my ammo. I'm set up. I'm ready to shoot. Honey, keep rolling. Roll some aliens. Have them move over towards me, because we can actually coordinate in real time and get the aliens to move into position. But occasionally, boss aliens come out. They have all kinds of really cool special powers, and those are terrifying. And eventually, the timer will run out. And we're like, oh. And we're literally, you feel winded. You feel like you've just barely survived alongside Ripley. And then all the bad guys get to use their special powers. During the real time, all they do is move. So it's a brilliant design that means during the real time, we can just focus on what we need to do and just occasionally move aliens. Then the aliens do their special powers, more of them spawn, more always spawn, and then we go again. So it has this great ebb and flow of like 2 minutes of really hardcore terror, and then a really nice chillaxed, oh my gosh, we're doomed, and now let's strategize. Okay, you need to head over there, because if you can get into that crow's nest, or if you can actually get the item over there that we need to bring back to the ship, we can just escape, because we're not going to survive. We can't possibly kill all these things. And yet, we are so incredibly powerful in this game. I mean, like I said, it captures that sense of Doom, or Quake, or maybe a video game that came out in the last 20 years, and I should have a more up-to-date reference, but I'm still going to go with Doom and Quake, because it really feels like that. You are an unstoppable thing, and no matter how stacked the odds are against you, somehow we just keep mowing down these aliens, and it's so much fun. There's so so much expansion content for it, but even just the base box is brilliant. All these creatures that just keep coming at you, shooting at you with lasers, dropping goop all over the place that's acidic and will, creates walls for you to avoid. Bosses that actually become mobile spawn points. Dogs that run twice as fast as everything. There's so much cool stuff in this game. Cannot recommend it enough. Number 29, Project Elite.
Nice choice. And I always thought that this game's name should have been Adrenaline, right? But there is already a game called Adrenaline, which is sort of similar, but it's not real time. So yeah, Project Elite, great choice. Yes. Speaking of Adrenaline, I'm gonna take it down a notch here for our number 28. Let's slow things down a little bit, because what is more slow and chill than making your own quilt? And that's why our number 28 is Patchwork, by one of the masters of game design, Uwe Rosenberg. One of mine and Michelle's all-time favorite games. It is, as you can see there, we are playing it. We've live streamed it several times. What we're doing is just building a quilt out of these funky-looking Tetris-like pieces onto your board there. And you select one, and you're going to pay for it. The currency is our buttons. So it's a really nice thematic touch. As you can see, Michelle's using her tweezers there to reach across the board, because her arms aren't as long as mine. Those come in handy. But it's just such for me, it's like the perfect design. Every decision that you make, it's like, oh, do I want this piece? It'll fit perfectly, but I need to get more buttons on board, because I'm gonna, during the currency phase, or anytime you pass one of those lines there, you're gonna have to get more buttons to pay for more pieces. So it's a really nice balancing act that Rosenberg's come up with here. Like, do you want to fill up that board? And because you need to fill up the board, because empty spaces are negative points. But then, as you're filling up your board, like, if you fill them up with ones that don't generate buttons, you're sort of hosed, because you need those buttons to pay for more pieces. And Michelle always gets me on this game. She always has, like, the right engine of currency or buttons being produced. Then she buy all the pieces that I want to buy. I end up buying the small ones, the cheap ones. And as much as I lose this game, I still love it. And it's an all-time favorite. That's why it's our number 28, Patchwork.
An excellent choice. Very well loved. And it's well loved, and it's been successful because it's had, like Azul, like a half a dozen spin-offs, roll and write versions and simplified. I mean, it's already such a light game, but there are even lighter versions of it and whatnot, and people absolutely adore it. Such a great combination of very simple Euro-style economics, like I said, maintaining your cash flow, and then Tetris-style polyomino tiling. Very, very good choice.
Thank you. Yeah, it was one of those games I went in there expecting there's no way I'm going to like this game. I like polyominoes, but come on, quilting or whatever. It rocketed straight up to the top of the list of two-player games. It's so good. But yeah, wonderful game. What do we have at number 27, my friend?
I'm glad you asked. Going from a very light, gateway, family-friendly game for 2 players, let's talk about one of the heaviest games in Jen's and my collection. Although you wouldn't know it to look at it. It's number 27, Dungeon Petz, which is from the design superstar Vlaada Chvátil, one of the most well-respected designers of the industry. And this, I believe, is my favorite game of his, because it is a super-duper heavy, very, very crunchy Euro game, all about basically trying to run a goblin pet shop. Every player, it's a worker placement game where we have a family of goblins that are charged with raising the most cute, adorable little monsters you've ever seen in your life. Let me see, fast forward, I can find some of them. And raising them, taking good care of them, feeding them, playing with them, meeting their needs so that they can grow from babies to big, strong, healthy monsters who we will then sell to dungeon masters. Because every round, except for the first round, there are dungeon masters who are showing up who have specific things they want to see. Whether they're like an evil dungeon master, they want really scary monsters, or they're just kind of a lovely laid-back, chillaxed dungeon master who wants, just somebody to snuggle up with them on the couch at night or something like that. There is so much variety in this game. And what drives it, as I said, it's a worker placement game where we have, this family of imps that we're going to send out to the board. They go out there to get cages. They go out there to get food. They go out there to get magical artifacts. And they also go out there to get new critters that we can actually bring home to start raising. And the interesting thing is, before a round starts, we put all the different creatures that are going to be out there on the board. And I'm very sorry, folks. This is one of the oldest videos I've ever filmed, so apologies for my old shaky cam video here. But anyway,
I love it.
Kicking it old school today. Before we actually send our workers out, we actually secretly, behind a shield, plot exactly what groups of workers are going to go out. Because the bigger a group of workers, either by imps or by giving them coins, the faster the first dibs they're going to get in the worker placement spot. So if there's something that everybody really wants and everybody knows it, then everybody's going to try to make a big group of imps so you can get out there first and grab it. But the bigger a group of imps you have, the fewer things you can actually go do. If you've only got 5 imps and 1 coin, well, the best thing to do is to actually have 5 individual imps, one of them with a coin. But that means, yeah, you get to do 5 things, but probably by the time you get to go, all the good stuff will already be gone because groups of 2 or 3 imps got to go before you. And those players didn't get to do as much, but instead they got the goods and they left you the dregs because not all rewards on that player board are created equal. So that's the first half of every round of the game. You do the worker placement stuff, you get the new pets, you get all the stuff you need to take care of them, but then the magic happens because these pets are really alive. Every round, you're going to draw a number of cards that represent needs they have, whether they need food, whether they need to play, whether they need to nap, whether they need to have messes cleaned up. Because, oh man, there are so many poop cubes that come with this game. You spend so much time cleaning up animal poop. It's ridiculous. But you don't know exactly what cards you're going to draw. You draw from decks based on what they might want. But then you find yourself, I got a big hand of cards, and I've got to figure out how to play enough cards to allow the pet to present itself. So half of all my preparation of the food I was getting and the artifacts and whatnot is about what the pet might do based on what I think they might do based on what their overall needs are. And Jen and this becomes a really rich, interesting puzzle. There's kind of a push your luck element. Oh please, anything but play. I don't have any spare imps. I don't have anybody to play with you. And if I don't set some of my family members aside to play, then they'll have a tantrum. They could actually even break out and get lost forever, because they run away. So you've got to be really careful about how you do all your planning. But then you actually draw the cards and, oh, I didn't expect that. There's 2 play cards here. There should have been 1. There's 2. How did this happen? Oh, he really wants to play this turn. Okay. How am I going to solve this problem? And so there's, again, the creatures, they are somewhat predictable. It's like they have personalities and they surprise you. And so you've got this whole second half of the game of treating them and taking care of them. And then it goes back to the next round where once again, you do all this secret, really brilliant simultaneous worker placement selection to get what they need so they can keep on growing big and strong in number 27 Dungeon Pets.
Wow, nice choice. And, as we get higher and higher on the list, these are all-time classics here. These are just brilliant, brilliant games. And I'm glad you had a worker placement game here because it's a nice segue into our number 26, yet another worker placement game. But this one proves, folks, number 26, that good things come in small packages. And this is Targi, a 2-player worker placement game that, again, just like my last choice, Patchwork, I came in with pretty low expectations, honestly, and it quickly proved to be absolutely brilliant. 2-player worker placement game, and I can't think of any other game that does this particular thing where you place your workers on this grid of cards, and then you're going to look at the intersection of your workers, and where those intersect, you're going to place a marker. What's that?
Triangulation,
thank you. Yes, I need to study up on my vocabulary after this, but yes, triangulation, folks. Where those workers meet, you're going to place another token there, and you'll get that action as well. And what's cool is you can do the actions in any order. So you can look at the part where you triangulated, or you can go to the part where on the borders where you place your workers, and then you can get resources, you can convert resources, you can pick up things for your tableau, because what you're ultimately building is a tableau of different things there, as you can see in the video, where you're going. Some of these have special powers and abilities which are really neat because it gives you some flexibility as far as, because there's going to be times, honestly, when your opponents are going to be in your way and you can't do the thing you want to. But as you can see, the Fata Morgana, I like that one a lot. That one you could actually pick up your piece and move to another swap, I think, with another token. Gosh, this game, for a small box game, it's normally retails like around $20. I think that this thing should be double the price with how much gameplay I've gotten out of it. It's far deeper and more complex than you think it would be. That's why it's our number 26, Targi.
Yep. Brilliant game. One of the best worker placement games of all time.
Agreed.
Although, folks, sadly, a 2-player only game. So that's something to bear in mind as well.
Yeah.
But good stuff. One of the best.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was in my top 10 worker placement games when I did it a while ago. That brilliant triangulation, which, don't feel bad. When I filmed that run through years ago, the whole run through, I kept saying, what is the term for this? And people in the comments told me. And ever since then, I was so publicly shamed that I couldn't think of the word triangulation. But yeah.
Well, I will never forget it now. That's a great term. And yeah, such a great game. I mean, I love how, again, I went in this game thinking, okay, it's a 2-player game. It's got to be super light, whatever. But oh man, no way. It's every single game I played this. It always takes around 45 minutes to an hour because it's crunchier than you think, folks. So if you never played it, highly recommend. Yes, it is 2 players only, but one of the best worker placement games out there.
Cool. Excellent choice. It's interesting. We keep vacillating back and forth between lighter, smaller games and bigger, heavier games, and we're doing it again because number 25, greatest games of all time, folks, is Maracaibo, which is such a phenomenal design from my second favorite designer of all time, Alexander Pfister. And this is a game where we are pirates, privateers in the Spanish Main, sailing around, having adventures. Although, I should say, there's more to it than that. But putting the subject matter aside for a second, the entire board is basically one gigantic rondel. And on your turn, you can take your pirate ship and move clockwise around the board up to 7 spaces, if I recall correctly. So you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And wherever you stop moving, you're going to be at an island, either at like a massive city where there's some kind of unique special power because the board is randomly seeded with special powers every time you play, or you're going to end up out at a village where you can do village actions. Sometimes those villages get upgraded by you because you have assistants that have been placed out there. And every step of the way, on your turn, you're going to decide where you're going to go and what you're going to do, but you are always trying to go as fast as you can. Because as soon as somebody makes a full circuit and makes it to the end of the rondel, that round is over, and we're only going to play for 4 rounds. And so this game is very much a race, because if there's one player who's zipping ahead, moving 6 or 7 every time, while other players are, okay, I'll just move 1 space, and then my next turn, I'll move this space, because, I want to go to all these places. They're all have all kinds of powers. I want to do all these things. Well, meanwhile, boom, I just finished the whole thing, and I hit the stuff I had to hit, the most powerful, important things, and meanwhile, you still barely have gotten out of your garage because you're moving really slow. So the interesting tension exists between you and other players, because this is a game that could literally take hours and hours and hours if every single person is only moving 1 or 2 spaces every turn. But as long as at least one player is going quick, then this game is gonna book. It is gonna go at hyperspeed, and so it's got this really heavy, complex game where you are focusing on a lot of different things. There's lots of paths to victory here, whether it's upgrading your ship, getting, you have a handful of cards that are multi-use cards that give you access to all kinds of characters and environments and items. You're trying to, whoever finishes the line first scores points for getting to cross the finish line before anybody else. And the other way you score points is, this is the Spanish Main in the era of colonialization. The English, the French, and the Spanish are all warring amongst themselves to carve the Caribbean up. And in the original Maracaibo, another thing you can do is curry favor with them and fight on their behalf against the other great powers. And so, the French have taken Maracaibo. Okay, well, I'm going to kick them out because I have more influence with the English. So that's a big source of points as well. And it's a center thing that you can really focus on. The tricky thing about that is, of course, that implicitly makes you a cog in the machine of colonialization and subjugation of the people. And so that's always been kind of the one Achilles heel of this game. And a lot of people brought it up to Alexander Pfister and the developers that, boy, the design here is so brilliant. It's just so heartbreaking that, or uncomfortable with the role you put us in as, not the actual colonizers, but as somebody who supports the colonization. And which is why I am so happy that recently a new expansion expansion came out called Maracaibo Uprising. And this is actually a video of Uprising. And this completely flips the script. The gameplay is exactly the same. But now, instead of working with the French, the Spanish, or the English to maintain control over all of the cities and villages, we are actually fighting to kick them out and send them home, and fight alongside the natives of the land who are engaged in a revolt, in an uprising. And that's how we score points. And that's the secret sauce that Maracaibo has always been missing, because not only does it make it, I think, a more engaging and interesting story being told of a David versus Goliath, and we are fighting with David to fight off the Goliath of these major colonial powers, but it's just more fun to have a whole bunch of cubes all over the board that you spend your turn, you're racing to clean them up. And that's just more satisfying. So with the Maracaibo Uprising expansion, the game has really rocketed through the stratosphere, and I think played that way definitely sits alongside all these other games as one of the best of all time. The gameplay has always been one of the best, and now it has a much more responsible and respectful way to tell its stories as well. And I have to doff my cap to everybody involved who listened to the audience and prove that, hey, not only can we make the games more inclusive and inviting, we can make them better at the same time. So that's number 25 on the list, Maracaibo.
Yeah, absolute fantastic game. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've played the original. I have not played Uprising yet, and I remember playing the original. It made my brain hurt, but in a good way. It was a fantastic experience. But yeah, it just but then you get in that whole colonialism thing, and it felt, for lack of a better term, icky, right? But now with Uprising, that's the one I want to play. I love the fact that they listened to people, and not only did they make the changes, but as you said, they improved it.
Exactly.
So folks, if you can do that, if they can do that, anyone can do it. So great choice, fantastic game.
In last week's episode, there was another game that I mentioned. There are icky elements to this. The gameplay's so good, it's here. I hope someday maybe it can get revisited by the developers and find a way to not only make it a more inviting game, but also make it better. And Maracaibo is one of the games I was thinking of as a great example for how we can do that. So, fantastic.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so I'm not going back to a smaller box game. I'm going to go join you in the big box game here for our number 24, what I consider a modern classic, Scythe from Stonemaier Games. This is big and brash. I love the story of this game, of how Jamie Stegmaier just saw a painting of this, right? If you've seen the painting, it's this 1920s like alternate universe, right? And what it is, it's set in 1920s Eastern Europe around World War I, right before World War II. And instead of the things that happen into history, now you've got mechs and you've got sci-fi stuff, and it's awesome. I mean, it's just grand in scope. And you look at that big board, and I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be Blood Rage 2. No, it wasn't. It was actually a Euro game. It's an engine building game. You are taking different actions, right, on your action selection board there, and pumping out resources, recruiting folks to your faction, and you're going out. And yes, there is combat, and but it's a very small part of the game. It's not a combat heavy game, which again surprised me, but it also surprised me how much I enjoyed it. You're constantly trying to upgrade your actions on your board, get structures out there as well, and it's just a fascinating, neat design where you think of one thing, you're expecting all this, but it totally flips the script, and it's just a smooth playing engine building Euro game, converting resources to build those structures, and eventually trying to complete a bunch of different goals. You'll have a secret one. There's also goals on the board there that you're trying to race to get those ever elusive victory stars. Which I feel like they're ever present in Stonemaier games, but it's a good thing. And even the combat sims was really neat. It's not just some random roll of dice or anything. You can set yourself up by the resources that you commit to certain things, and even combat has a price. Yes, you may win something, but you're going to lose, I think it's reputation or fame or whatever. So you're going to lose on that track. So you got a bunch of different tracks you need to balance. I think it's one of Stonemeyer's best games they've ever published. And that's why it's our number 24, Scythe.
Oh, you are not alone in that. And man, you're right. You said you're going big. It doesn't get much bigger than Scythe. It is a table hog. It's a gigantic box, and it is a behemoth in the industry. One of the best-selling board games of the last decade. And I think it's because of what you pointed out, that really brilliant, hey, at first glance, it looks like it's just a dudes on a map war game, but no, it's a Euro. This is, as I understand it, Jamie set out to try to say, well, how can I make a war game for Care Bear players like Rahdo? And a lot of people, apparently, that's a good formula for success, because this game continues to be such a monster, huge impact and influence on the industry. Now, I'm curious. I've never played it, because I'm still Care Bear, and it's still a little bit too much fighting for me. But as I understand it, one of the expansions actually adds co-op. Have you ever tried the co-op mode?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Is it the Ferris expansion? I forget which
Rise of Ferris, I think.
Rise of Ferris, Ferris. That one does have co-op. I have not played that one. I've only played the non-co-op version. Yeah, but with the design being I feel like you need to try it, because it's so good.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, you were just watching a video of it that Shay did for the channel, and I watched it, and I can really appreciate just how deep and rich and well designed it is. Someday it'll happen.
One of these days.
Yep, one of these days. But it's interesting. Okay. We were going back and forth between big and small, big and small. Then you went big. I'm going to go small with our number 23, Escape, Curse of the Temple. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yes.
Real-time board games does not get better than this. This is interesting. I have 2 real-time board games on the list this week. And these are the 2 best it's ever been. And this is a real-time cooperative game where we are trying to Indiana Jones style escape from a cursed temple. The game actually comes with a CD. Remember CDs? This game's been around long enough that it actually came with a physical CD.
The soundtrack.
I just went and downloaded the MP3s that the publisher made available ultimately very quickly. But basically, that soundtrack gives you 10 minutes to roll dice as fast as you can. Very, very much like Project Elite. In fact, I should say Project Elite took a lot of inspiration from Escape Curse of the Temple. But still, Escape Curse of the Temple is the OG favorite, in part for me and my wife Jen, because it has a real strong sense of nostalgia. This is in her top 10 favorite games of all time. Man, when we first got this, she just would not stop playing it. Hey, I know you're about to go off to work, but before you go to work, can we play a quick game? Oh, I know you just got home. Hey, why don't you come home for lunch and we can play some Escape? She was addicted to this game.
Nice.
And it's so wonderful, because at its heart, it's real-time Yahtzee. We're rolling, re-rolling, trying to get combos on our dice that will allow us to move from room to room, interact with traps and switches, and it's weird. Not find treasure, but instead we're all running around with a bunch of cursed treasure. And before we can get out, we have to get rid of this cursed treasure by basically returning it from whence it came. There's actually kind of a nice anti-Indiana Jones. It doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs where you found it. Leave it where it's supposed to be. And then maybe we'll let you out. You can maybe escape. So I have always really appreciated that kind of twist on the standard. Oh, let's go in and take all the stuff. No, let's actually return the stuff. And it's interesting. The most important thing is, you can, while you're rolling and re-rolling to try and move and get torches and whatever else you need, you can get skulls, and you can't re-roll those. And what'll happen is, there are golden skulls that will let you unlock the frozen skulls, but eventually you'll get to a point where, crap, I've got too many skulls. I'm trying to unlock, but I'm trapped. I can't. Can you come and help me? I'm literally frozen in place by the curse. And then that's when you drop whatever you're doing, quickly rush to the other side of the dungeon, of the temple, and start helping me unfreeze myself. And that is such a cool hero moment. I talked about how Project Elite really captures the feel of video games. This, to me, really captures the feel of, big heroic, epic movies and whatnot, where everybody's working together to overcome impossible odds. This is like one nonstop, really exciting action scene, and it's a blast. It's had tons of expansion contents over the year. It's had, I think, 2 big boxes to capture everything that's ever been released, and it's still one of Jen's and my favorites of all time. And it's just so clean and pure and simple. You can teach. It's a good gateway because if you play without all the modules and whatnot, you can teach anybody how to be up and playing this game in no time at all. But it's got so many cool new things that can be added and modified and changed. Oh man, this is one that will never leave our collection. It's number 23, Escape, Curse of the Temple.
Yes. Wow. We love it as well. It's a family favorite, and it will always be on my shelf as well. When I first got in the hobby way back in 2015, it was probably, I think, the first game so we decided to have a Gaviola game night, and we had Lauren and some of her friends come over. They were just out of high school. I think they're going into college. And said, okay, let's go play with Lauren's dorky parents that love board games. And they came over. We played it for like an hour and a half straight. And not only did the kids or the younger people play it, they wanted me and Michelle to play too. So it was like a totally family friendly thing. And you're right. It totally captures action movies. I mean, you're sweating after you're done,
yes,
and you want to do it again. It's such a great experience. And I love everything about it. Nice choice at number 23.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, what's better? What beats that?
Well, what beats that is, speaking of me getting into the hobby back in 2015, this is the second game I ever played at an open game night, and it is Samurai by the good doctor.
Oh, I know you love
Rainer
this one
Knizia.
so much. Yes,
I was so like this really opened my eyes to modern gaming. This was 5 years ago, or almost 7 years ago. This game's way older than that. This is from 1999, folks. This is over 20 years old, and I will say it still holds its place as one of my favorite games of all time. It's probably my favorite Knizia design. You can see the video here. Michelle and I are playing. Absolutely love it. It's a tile laying game. It's a area majority game, area control, and what you're trying to do is you have the 3 different types of like factions, I guess you could call them, or industries, or whatever. It's like military, farming, and I think religion. 3 pillars of the ancient Japanese community, country, and you're trying to control that through the tile placement that you do.
Yeah.
And once you surround one of the pieces, you take turns placing your pieces that you have there, your tiles, and then you're going to add up the numbers. And whoever has the highest number will take control of that piece. And at the end of the game, whoever has the majority of the 2 of the 3 factions will win the game. But what makes it really special are those different tiles that you place out there. And you have the same tiles as your opponent, but you're going to draw them randomly, and you'll have a few that you can pick from. You can see the little screens that we have, player screens. So you have choices. You can say, oh, I want to play this high number here, but then if I do that, I can't go get that one. And I know Michelle's going to play her like special one here.
Right.
There's special tiles that can remove them and place them in other places. Oh, it's such a Knizia, a brilliant and genius design. Again, it's one of those things where you're doing one thing per turn. You're just laying a simple tile. That's it. But there's so much more that goes behind it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad that this was my second game that I ever played at open game night, because it made me, right then and there, I said, I love the board gaming hobby because of this one game right there. That's why it's our number 22 of all time, Samurai.
An excellent choice, yes. Definitely one of Knizia's best, and also, I would say, one of his more overlooked, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think it gets...
Why is that?
It doesn't get mentioned in the same breath as Lost Cities or Tigris and Euphrates, or... I mean, he's got so many old classics, and probably, I would say, the most important thing about this is area control, area majority style games very rarely work well with 2. This game works brilliantly with 2.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I wish more people would, anytime I brought it up, people, they think Knizia, like you said, Lost Cities, Raw, the Tigris and Euphrates. This one's totally overlooked, but it doesn't, the brilliance and the genius is there. So, folks, if you haven't tried, you got to give it a shot. Samurai.
All right. An excellent choice. A very worthy one, but I've got one even better for you, because I've got one from an even better designer. Stefan Feld returns to the list, folks, with number 21, Trajan. Oh, nice. Baby. And for a lot of people consider Trajan to be Stefan Feld's masterpiece. It's not my favorite. Spoiler alert. There's more Feld to come before we hit the number 1 on this countdown. But this is certainly one of his greatest works, and it epitomizes the point salad. That while he certainly didn't start that trend, look, There's a half a dozen things you could do in this game, and they're all equally viable paths to victory. And no matter what, every turn, every time you do something, you're always scraping in some points. And so people, might even been Trajan that popularized the concept of point salad. Doesn't matter what you do, you're always getting points. It's just a bunch of points all mixed together. But like all of Feld's Best, even though there's a lot of different things you can do, at its heart, there's one very simple core mechanism. In this case, it is Mancala, that allows you to choose what actions you're going to do, and you have to focus like a laser. If you just try to do a little bit of everything, you will lose. You have to work hard to either focus hard on the Senate, or focus hard on military campaigns, or hard on rebuilding the city, or hard on the forum or the agora. There's all these different things you can focus on, and I mentioned it's the Mancala. Everybody has one in front of their boards, and it's interesting. Mancalas, as a gameplay mechanism, have been with us for millennia. It's one of the oldest known board game forms in the world. They have found old carvings of these back in ancient Rome. People were playing Mancala games. How appropriate, in the Roman Empire. And it took Trajan to get the industry to step and say, hey, Mancalas are really freaking cool. They can be something other than what we've always thought they were, because they're a 2,000, 3,000-year-old game design. And so he came up with this brilliant idea where everybody has their own personal Mancala instead of being a communal Mancala. And it is one of the most fiendishly puzzly games you are ever going to play, because every turn you just pick one of the cups in your Mancala, pick all the pips out of it, drop them off clockwise into other ones, and wherever you put the last one, you activate that space. And so you are constantly creating opportunities for you in the future. Okay, I've got to do this right now, but how can I do it in such a way that's going to set me up for success later on? And it is absolutely brilliant. Ruel mentioned, brain exploding. There are a few games that will make your brain grind harder than this, with so many things to consider with every single turn. And it all comes together. And like I said, it is such a huge influential game that we nowadays see probably 2 or 3 new Mancala games come out every year, because Trajan showed the industry just how amazing it turns out it was. And 2,000-3,000 years ago, there were some pretty smart game designers out there. Well done to them. Number 21 on the list, Trajan.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought the Mancala thing, because I feel like this is the one that really brought it back in vogue, right, with designers, and it's so cool to see. And also, I was surprised this came in at 21. I thought it'd be higher, but then I realized, wait, there are other Stefan Feld games that we haven't talked about yet.
Games.
And
not heard the last.
There are going to be some. Yes, great choice. Okay.
Wow, cool. Well, that was all very exciting, and it's getting closer to the end, folks. I can't believe it. It's almost here. Next up, we're going to be doing the teens, the terrible teens, or the terrific teens, I'm sure they will be. And you'll have to join us again to come and watch. And in case you need to catch up, because maybe you missed what has come before, remember, folks, you can always go to R&R Romeo November Romeo.rahdo.com, and that's a playlist with all of the episodes of the R&R Show, the regular editions and the extended editions, so you can catch up on everything as we head for the finish line. But before we do that, one last bit of business, folks. Did you hear it? Did somebody say the secret word today, which was goop? If so,
goop.
What game was mentioned when it was said by either me or Ruel? Send the name of that game as your subject to contest@rahdo.com, and you might be the lucky one to win a copy of Encyclopedia.
Oh, awesome.
Whew. All right, Ruel. It's getting good. This is the best of the best, and it's only going to get better from here. But the time has come for us to go and continue the live stream and do some Q&A with the folks. Which again, folks, if you missed those live and you're not going to listen to us on podcast, because you can check us out at podcast.rahdo.com, hit that I to go to the extended playthrough, and we'll see what the audience thought of our choices. So you have anything to say before we go?
No, I'm just excited to see with the teens and then the top 10 as well. We've been doing this for months now, and the games keep getting better and better. I'm so excited to see how it ends up.
Yep, and I'm sure we both have some idea of a couple of games that are going to appear. I know a few that are probably going to appear on yours. You know a few, but there's a lot more. So I can't wait to see what you come up with. I know you've still got a few surprises up your sleeve.
Yep, and so do you, I'm sure. So yeah,
I'll
looking
try.
forward to it, my friend.
All right, then. Well, then, thank you once again for joining me on this journey. Thank you to you, everybody out there, for watching. And finally, thanks to sponsor of the show, Arcane Wonders. Have a very, very nice day, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Boop.
And
All righty. Phew.
all right.
Hey.
Cool. No microphone issues after that one, so that was great.
One is enough. God damn it. I can't believe that.
Yeah. So people, I mean, you'll check the chat later, but people were talking about how it might be this or that. So
yep. Does anybody has any ideas as to why it would happen when streaming but not recording? I mean, I guess streaming, maybe that puts more of a pressure on my computer for some reason. I mean, I don't know. It's all so weird. But I forget. Somebody suggested, hey, why don't before you buy the new mic? Although that's the thing. I was hoping I was going to have any problems today because I'm doing my top. You know what? Since we were talking about pushing this off and maybe doing it together.
Yeah.
I really want to do it tomorrow. I don't know.
You know,
folks,
do you think it's? What? Did we ever have problems with your mic when we did Skype? Do you think it's a Discord thing?
We sure didn't.
Because Discord
no, never mind.
Stuff.
Because it has happened to me when I'm streaming by myself. And I'm not talking to anybody.
Okay.
So that was good thinking, but nope.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it started happening after I had that burnout. Remember the tabula board? And I had a prototype of it, and I left it plugged in overnight, and because it was a prototype, it didn't have any voltage override safeties, and so it literally melted itself and melted the cable it was plugged into, and the presumption was melted the hub that it was plugged into. But, I mean, that hub is long gone. Everything's plugged directly into my motherboard now. Yeah. And I've tried to spread it out. But anyway, I'll post all about that on guild.raw.com, folks. But, Ruel, do they have any questions for us for the post show?
Yeah, we got a couple here. This one made me laugh right now. It was, have you ever played with the Benny Hill soundtrack for Escape?
That had never occurred to me. I know. I remember for a time there were people putting out, "Hey, here's a Star Wars Escape thing you could download and stuff like that." It's basically taking cool action music and turning it into 10 minutes long with like 2 breaks in between. Benny Hill, I hadn't heard of that one, but that one would be hilarious.
I think it would be hilarious. The Rare Norb says, worth mentioning that Targi has a solo version by the designer. I just downloaded that, Rare Norb. Yeah, I want to give that a shot.
Really? Is that not in the box? And not in the box for the expansion?
Not. He does. I don't know who it was. The designer did it during the start of the pandemic. Started working on it, and then and it's now an official solo variant. Yes.
That is very cool. I had no idea.
Very, very neat.
Wow.
Excited about that. Let's see. Well, I mean, some random question. Okay, some of this stuff was from before.
Okay.
Like the this or that, and
a few this or that.
Just some random questions. Let's see. What dexterity game do you like most?
Let's see. I know yours is Crokinole.
Yep.
That was already in the top 100. I like probably Rampage or Terror in Maple City, as it was renamed.
Yes. Although the one part of that game I will not like anymore now that after the pandemic and everything, so that part where you gotta like physically blow on the dinosaur. There's that like when they roar where you're supposed to go like. I don't want anyone breathing on any kind of pieces anymore. You know what? I'm gonna pull one out. So of course, Crocodile's my favorite all time. Here's one. Have you ever played Catch the Moon? That's a wonderful dexterity game. It's a better Jenga. That's all I can describe it. It's got all these funky looking ladders, and you're just trying to connect them and build it as high as you can without making it fall. It's wonderful. Let's see. Here, we'll change it up. Mom Gamer says, the kids and I always ask one another the highlight of the week. May I ask, what is the highlight of your week?
The highlight of my week, let's see, if we include everything up to a week ago, was seeing the doctor and her fixing me almost immediately. but we've already covered that. So actually, I'll try to board gamify this a little bit. I've been crazy busy for the last few months, barely keeping up with everything. But this month, things finally slowed down a little bit, and so I finally got to get some time to catch up with Marvel Champions. I have half a year's worth of Marvel Champions new content unplayed, and I spent all day yesterday and quite a bit of time on Sunday going through. I've got Sinister Motives and Mad Titan Shadow, and between that's 9 new heroes, 10 new missions for me to play, and I'm trying to get them all played this month so I can talk about them in the monthly roundup. And my love for Marvel Champions has been so reinvigorated. Mad Titan Shadow did so many amazing things. Probably some of the best mission design I've seen yet. But then I just started this morning with Sinister Motives, or last night with Sinister Motives, and it's everything I've wanted Marvel Champions to be. There is now a new deck of cards that's called, I forget what it's called, something like Everyday Heroes. That in and amongst doing all the big stuff we're trying to do, occasionally we just have to get cats out of trees or deal with local small robbers. And there are things that we can't defeat them as heroes. We have to defeat them in our alter ego mode. It makes me so happy, Ruel, to get back to the crux, the core of what has always made this game special. So I've been very happy about that. What about you?
That's good to hear. I love that. My highlight of the week was I'm thinking here. I didn't have like a highlight of the game. It would just be able to hang out with our new pugs, Meeple and Mookie. We love having them around, and it's a highlight every day.
How'd you get them?
Let's go with there's a quick question as far as the show. Curious to know how many people enter the contest each week approximately.
But before, when we were, the original system we did, where we were just trying to sneak a secret word past each other, and then we tell everybody what the secret word was, and it was really easy for people just to find the secret word and send that, because you could just, it's uploaded on YouTube, hey, we'll just go to this section right here, where it's really long. They talked about that one game for a long time. That's probably where the secret word is. So it was very easy to find the secret word, and then we were getting probably around 800 to up, I think a couple times almost 1,000 entries because it was just so easy. Now, where you have to work for it, it probably averages around 200, sometimes a little bit less. I think the most I've seen is up to almost 300. So, but normally it's around 200, 225 because you've really got to work for it. Although, folks, remember, you don't have to work for it. If you are a subscriber of the show, and you can subscribe for free if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, one of the benefits is we'll just tell you where the secret word was. Also, if you back the show on Patreon for $1 a month, you get all kinds of bonuses, including the fact we'll just come right out and tell you. All you got to do is just whisper me on Twitch or direct message me on Patreon so I can see that, you're an actual subscriber, and I'll just say, it was this game or that game, so you can just sit back and relax and enjoy. There's lots of other perks for subscribing too, but now that people have to work for it, it dropped by, what is that, 75%, I guess.
Wow. That's great for you regular viewers of the show. You got better odds, right?
Exactly. Much better odds. Yeah. So much so that one person has actually won twice. It probably won't be the last time. So keep playing. Cool. If you're here for 200 episodes, I guarantee you win. I don't. This offer non-binding on the planet Earth.
Right. You get the small print on the screen. Okay, so we're at 2:00, and I was actually going to go take a quick bio break and then come back to stream on my channel.
Okay.
Are you okay taking a couple of questions as I get ready?
Okay, I can still see there's some more questions in the queue. So today, folks, we are going to raid Ruel, because what are you going to do?
Folks, look at this. I've got this game set up on my screen right now. This is Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. It just launched on Kickstarter this morning. It's already funded. It's, crushed its funding goal. I live streamed it last night. What I want to do today on my channel, just give you a quick overview. I'll do a couple of sample turns, just a real quick mini run through because I really, really like the game. I mean, full disclosure, I was paid to do a live stream yesterday, but this one I'm doing because I really enjoyed this. Yes, I legit like it. And if you like the game Parks, it is like the next evolution of that game, I believe. It's a little more strategic, got a little more depth to it, and I just want to show it off. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a quick bio break and clean up a little bit, and then I'll be back. I will go live in about, say, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you all come on and raid. You're going to get extra Rahdo points if you join the raid, too. So
so you can unlock more stuff. Cool. All right, well, you take off, and I will just focus on me then and hide you. And, somebody, when Ruel goes live, type in the chat with a question mark. Ruel is live, because then that means I'll see it in the question queue and we'll know to go rate him. But in the meantime, let's see here. What have we got? Boop, boop, boop. Click to show this message. Here we go. All right. Mom Gamer asked another question. What change/upgrade would I like to add to my game room studio? Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure Ruel will probably have answers for that too. I'm actually really... I would like to make a change upgrade to a mic that won't fail. That's the obvious thing. What else, though? I'm pretty happy with the camera setup. I mean, I could imagine having a third camera so I could, cut back and forth between and, I could do different angles of the game. Sometimes I find myself needing that. If I were to rotate the camera about 80 degrees counterclockwise, you'd see there's a big mess there. But that's not an upgrade. That's just my own fault. I'm pretty happy with things as they are. I mean, the lighting seems okay. The sound seems okay. I could always use a better computer, definitely. I bought a pretty good computer. I bought a computer that cost me about $1,500 as part of, the upgrade trying to fix this microphone. And I'm pretty happy with it, but you could always have a better one. What else? I feel so stupid implying that what I have here is literally set up perfect. I could certainly use a new replacement mat because this mat has been used so much. Let me go to the overhead, see if you can see some of it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you probably can't tell, but there are scuffs, and there have been some spills and whatnot, and so there are some marks that you can't really tell when I'm filming because I crank the contrast up so much to make everything so inky black. But I could probably use a replacement mat, but even that's not that big a deal because it's not really affecting the video quality at all, right? So, geez. I don't know. Can anybody suggest anything? I use a foot monitor thing to switch between camera views. To go for a normal and a zoomed in left, zoomed in right. I know there are fancier ones than the one I've got. So maybe something like that could do a bit more. They're like programmable and things. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one too. There's the right one. So yeah, maybe one of those really cool fancy programmable foot pedal things. That's the first thing I can think of, and I can't think of much. I mean, I've been here for 3 years. I've worked very hard to get this perfect, exactly the way I like it. I could certainly use a lot more sound dampening stuff, because that should go all the way to the ceiling, but it's okay as is. Oh, and one thing would be nice, another microphone right here, so that sometimes, because when I come over here to look at this, you probably notice, my voice gets quiet, and then it comes back like that. Again, such minor complaints. I'm very happy with the way we've got it set up. Next up. Oh, Mom is busy. What are my thoughts on the huge crowdfunding games that cost hundreds of dollars for an all-in? Mom's bought into that once. Not sure how I felt when the shelves were filled with the same game rather than the variety it used to hold. I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do if it's going to be a lifestyle game for you. I mean, Gloomhaven is one of those games. And Jen and I, we have probably put in almost 200 hours of gameplay into Gloomhaven. And so to me, that was definitely worth it. I think you just have to be aware that, look, don't do one of those things unless you're relatively confident that it's going to be one that you really want to put the time into. And that you will put other things off to the side for 6 months. I mean, buying one a year seems perfectly reasonable to me if you think that you could get a good, 30 or 40 hours of it. If it's something that you will play every Sunday. That's what we did. Jen and I, Sundays were Gloomhaven Day. No matter what else happened during the week, no matter what deadlines we had, we would always play Gloomhaven on Sunday. And we did that for almost a year, and it was fantastic. And so I think these kinds of big Uber games are perfect for that. But you have to know yourself. You have to know, don't do it unless you're going to be able to make that time. It's interesting. I've got Gloomhaven. I've got Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent is another one of these games. I've got the expansion for it. I did have Etherfields because they wanted me to do coverage of it after it had gone live. And I thought about keeping it, but I realized, you know what? No, I can't keep another one of these. If I have time to have one of these big lifestyle games, it'll be Seventh Continent. When I eventually finish Seventh Continent and I'm done with it, I will then trade it away Probably. And maybe I'll get Aetherfields back. Or Sleeping Gods. Maybe I'll get Sleeping Gods back. That's what it was. I got rid of Sleeping Gods, even though I really enjoyed it and would love to see it. But I figured there's no way I'm going to do that until I'm done with Seventh Continent. So do them one at a time, and I think it's great. And and don't feel too bad if you don't fall for the FOMO. Just because I said, or Shay, or Ruel, or whoever said it was a really great game, don't worry about it. If it was really that great, it'll get another Kickstarter campaign next year because they'll do new expansion content for it, and you'll be able to get it then. And so in the meantime, finish the one you've already got at a time. Do them one at a time, maybe two at a time, and I think it's totally fine. What is the craziest, most adventurous thing I've ever done? I have jumped out of a plane. I have bungee jumped. I have scuba dived in a zero visibility wreck 100 feet down. I have scuba dived in deep cenote caves in Mexico. Probably those. Whichever one of those you think was craziest, most adventurous thing. Those would be the big ones. A few other things. I went hang gliding once, didn't get very far. But certainly the most terrifying thing I've ever done was the bungee jumping. Because when it was a tandem jumping out of a plane, so I had no control. I was strapped to somebody, they jumped out of a plane, I was just along for the ride. But when I was standing there, my feet hanging over the edge, nobody would push me. It didn't happen unless I jumped. And that was the most terrifying single thing I've ever done, doing a bungee jump. So I would go with that. Let's see here. Has Ruel not gone live yet? Alrighty. I assume not, because nobody's told me. Top one or two, two Uwe games that work well solo. That's a good question. Let's look at Board Game Geek, Uwe Rosenberg games. Come here, you. Come on, Board Game Geek. Wake up. Wake up. Boop. Alrighty. And let's go to Advanced Search. Let's go for Designer Uwe, or UWE. And let's forget about expansions. And then let's look at all of his games. Alrighty. I've never played Agricola solo, but I've heard it's very, very good. Bonanza, of course, wouldn't work. You know what I should do? Go back. I need to add one more thing. Player range, at least one player. Do you support one player? And then so annoying. I have to type in Uwe again. Uwe Rosenberg games, no expansions that support at least one player. Alrighty. Which of these would I want to play solo the most? Wow, a lot of them. A lot of them. Hey, listen. Okay. Somebody just said, listen, he's live. Thank you, Kabuki, or Steam stickers. Perfect. Or whoever used the sticker to do that. But I got to answer this question. This one last question. It's a good question. There are more questions. We'll do them in the Q&A next week. I would probably... Honestly, I tend to like lighter games. Probably one of his polyomino games. I think Spring Meadow is his best polyomino game. That is probably the one I would definitely like to Caverna Cave versus Cave. If that has a solo mode, I would really like to try that. Smaller, quicker, really deep, rich, crunchy, and without the, I can destroy your stuff, like regular Caverna. So that would be my choice. And that's not Ruel. I need to go raid Ruel. Let's find that button. Raid, which looks like all right, there we go. Ruel Gaviola, and he's just sitting there waiting very patiently. Good use of the stickers, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back next week, and check the schedule at twitch.tv/Rahdo runs through. I'll try to figure out if I'm still doing my top 10 tomorrow. I probably am. I'll probably risk having sound drop out because I really want to get that done. But again, you can check the schedule. I'll be updating it. Anyway, though, raid! Go, 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 go. Go get him. Did it work? Please tell me it worked. Is rating with a party of 49. Let's just go looky-loo. Twitch.tv/Ruel Gaviola. Alrighty. And...
Welcome, Raiders from Rahdo Runs Through. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Raid. You're going to get your special
you're in good
Twitch
hands,
points
everybody.
for
Talk
the
to you later.
raid. For coming on over. You